Hello, my name's Juliet, and I'm 31 years old. I just made one of the most difficult decisions in my life, but I'm in a much happier place because of it. Let me start by introducing you to my ex-husband, Austin. Austin and I met through some mutual friends. We hit it off really well, and we began dating a little while after we met. We had a picture-perfect relationship. We barely fought, and we had a good understanding about each other. When we hit the 1-year mark, Austin decided that it was time for him to introduce me to his mother. Oh, hello. Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. So how long have you and Austin been together? We've been together for about 3 years now. Austin, you were with Chelsea for 6 years and you never asked her to marry you. Mom, drop it. I'm sorry, who's Chelsea? Chelsea was my girlfriend through high school and college. They were perfect for each other. Chelsea was the sweetest, most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. I was sure that both of them would get married. Mom, you know we had our differences, so we split. Besides, can we focus on Juliet right now? Right. So what do you do for a living? I'm an accountant. So rest assured, Austin will never struggle with any of the finances or filing of taxes. That sounds boring, you know. Chelsea is currently doing her PhD in language studies, and she's doing that while also traveling around the world. Wait, really? Oh yeah, I didn't want things to be awkward between us, so I never really told you that I was still in contact with her. Whether you marry her or not, she is always going to be my daughter-in-law in my eyes. Okay, but I'm going to be your daughter-in-law in reality. I mean, if Austin and Chelsea couldn't last, I guess you are a good enough backup for him. Backup? I'm not his backup. Okay, things are getting a bit too heated. Why don't we drop the topic and focus on something other than my ex? Look, all I'm saying is that, Austin, I think you can do better than Juliet. Chelsea is still single, and I'm sure now that the both of you have grown in so many ways you can get together again. Are you seriously trying to set my fiancé up with another woman right in front of my face? Mom, that's enough. Juliet, be respectful and don't talk to my mom that way. Now, can we please just resume dinner? I was genuinely shell-shocked by what had happened. I've heard horror stories about your partner's parents not liking you, but for them to actively try to get your partner back into an old relationship while you were sitting right in front of them was a whole new ballgame for me. I could tell that what Rosa said had some impact on Austin. He suddenly felt a lot different and on more accounts than one. I caught him lurking on Chelsea's social media pages, debating whether to request a follow or not. When I confronted him about it, he apologized and said he was just curious. He stopped thinking about her after that. Another year passed and I limited all interactions with Rosa because whenever I did meet her, she would compare me to Chelsea and she would give Austin updates about her. This would affect him and we'd be stuck in that cycle of him getting affected, me confronting him, and him forgetting. But Austin asked me to marry him and I really did love him, which is why I said yes. The wedding went by without a hitch. I hoped that a good wedding meant a good marriage, but boy was I wrong. Rosa's taunts about me never being like Chelsea only got worse. She never failed to make me feel inferior and Austin never stopped her. Nothing I did was going to be as good as Chelsea. I bore it all because I truly loved Austin, but suddenly Rosa stopped bringing Chelsea up and Austin never became distant, and I was glad that things were starting to go better. That was until I happened to come across some texts between Austin and Chelsea. Austin, we need to talk. Uh-oh, did I do something wrong? I don't know. You tell me. Look at these texts. Hold on. Were you going through my phone? I did not intend to, but when I was going to put your phone to charge last night, a text from Chelsea popped up. Mind explaining why you're texting her? Are you accusing me of cheating on you? I'm not. But I'm still asking for an explanation as to why you're in contact with your ex. Look, Mom gave her my number and she started texting me. Why did you tell her you were single when she asked if you were? Oh, this is going to sound stupid, but I just wanted to see how she would reply to that. You're right, it's stupid. It's so stupid to think that telling your ex that you were single would not jeopardize your marriage. Oh, come on, babe. It was just a harmless text. I didn't mean it. I just wanted to know her true intentions. And what were you going to do about what you found out? Were you going to see her secretly behind my back? What? No, I would never do that. Where is all this jealousy coming from? You know how I feel about Chelsea. Your mom has made it even worse for me, since she considers it her duty to remind me every time I meet her that I'll never be what Chelsea was to you. But she's right about it. I mean, Chelsea fulfilling a different role in my life and you fulfilling another doesn't mean I don't care about you or about us. Are you going to meet Chelsea? Huh? Why would you ask that? She texted asking to meet up. I don't know. You don't know? Shouldn't the answer be clear to you? Well, yes, but at the same time, I really do want to meet her and see how life has been treating her. I hope you know that actions speak louder than words. If you go meet her, I'll know that I was never valued to begin with. Juliet, no, that's not what I meant. I was fuming and I was ready to break some things. Austin barely even tried to assure me that I was the only one that mattered. I put up with him not defending me in front of his mother. But when we were alone, what stopped him from telling me that only I mattered to him? Why would he lie to Chelsea about him being single? And why would he even try to meet her behind my back? I didn't speak to Austin for a week after that. Every time I saw his face, I was filled with immense rage and deep sadness. I didn't want to talk to him when I was feeling that way because I didn't want to seem over-emotional. When we did finally talk, Austin told me that he would not be meeting with Chelsea. However, it felt like he resented me a little for forcing him not to go. I was so tired of his lack of care towards me that I completely bypassed that. I was just glad that he still chose our marriage over his ex-girlfriend. It took a little while for me to go back to being my normal self, but I did eventually. Austin and I began to seriously work on our relationship because we were at a make or break point in our relationship and we wanted us to last. At least I thought both of us did. When Thanksgiving came around, Rosa invited us along with her other children and their families to come over to hers for a big Thanksgiving feast. When we got there, Rosa greeted us at the door. Hi, Austin. Hi, Juliet. Happy Thanksgiving. Hi, Mom. It sure smells nice here. Hi, Rosa. Happy Thanksgiving. If you don't mind me asking, why is Chelsea, Austin's ex, here? Oh, you know that girl is a part of the family. She had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, so I invited her over. Oh, that's nice. I can't wait to catch up with her. You're going to have a blast learning about her life. So much has happened since you broke up. Rosa, you know that I don't like Chelsea. She tried to ruin my relationship with Austin on many occasions. Why would you invite her over? First of all, this is my house, and so I can invite whoever I want to. Secondly, stop being a big baby about it. She and Austin are not getting together anytime soon. Babe, I love that you're a little jealous, but I'm sure Chelsea has changed. I mean, look at her. She looks like a whole new person. I just don't feel comfortable with this. You know what? Since you are so uncomfortable, you can sit at the kids' table. What? Why? I don't want your negative energy ruining things for us at our table. You can sit with the kids and be as fussy as you like. Austin, are you going to say something to me? Sorry, babe. Mom's the owner of this house, so she gets what she wants. You go sit with the kids. I have some catching up to do. Oh, and Juliet, if you throw even a single tantrum right now, I will have you thrown out of the house and never invited over. You got it? Why are you doing this? You know these things hurt me, and you still do them? Do you enjoy seeing me uncomfortable? Is that a tantrum I hear? Just go sit at your table. I was humiliated. I couldn't believe that I was being treated like a child. What had I done to deserve that kind of treatment? Austin barely even cared. He was too engrossed in his fascination with Chelsea to even see how hurt I looked. Rosa smirked at me as she ushered Austin away to the adults' table. I felt tears pricking my eyes, but I refused to cry because crying would mean telling Rosa that she had an impact on me. That was a satisfaction that I wasn't willing to give her, so I picked up my pride and went and sat at the kids' table. Thankfully, all the kids were lovely. Most of them were 11 to 14, so I could actually hold conversations with them. Of course, sometimes I would look over at the adults' table, and whenever I did, I'd see Austin and Chelsea getting along a little too well. Chelsea would constantly have her hand on Austin, and she laughed at everything he said. Austin looked like he was having the time of his life. I felt like my skin was crawling. How could Austin behave that way when he knew his wife was seated not even 5 feet away from him? At some point, I needed a break from the kids and seeing Austin and Chelsea, so I walked over into the kitchen to get a tall glass of cold water. And that's when Austin's dad, Wade, walked in as well. "So why are you sitting with the kids? Did you volunteer to babysit for us tonight?" "Oh no. Rosa asked me to sit there." "What? Why?" "Apparently it was wrong of me to be uncomfortable with Chelsea here." "Why would it be wrong? Hell, even I'm uncomfortable with her being here. I know I wouldn't want any of Rosa's exes here on Thanksgiving." "Tell me about it. It just hurts to see Austin not even have a problem with it. He's so caught up with catching up with her that he doesn't even care about how hurt I am." "Yeah, I completely agree. This isn't how I raised my son. Do you want to say something?" "Well, I would, but Rosa threatened to kick me out, so I really don't want to do that." "What? Why would she kick you out?" "I mean, I guess I'm used to it." "Why in the world are you used to it?" "Well, Rosa has never really liked me." "What?" "No, that's nonsense. She loves you." "Oh, I can assure you that she does not. She's made it clear on several occasions that I will never compare to Chelsea." "I watched their relationship, and let me tell you, you're a million times better than her." "Oh, thanks, Wade. How come I've never heard all this?" You're almost always working and Rosa threatens me to keep my mouth shut." "Yeah, that track. How come Austin hasn't said anything?" "Austin can never seem to disrespect his mother. He tells me to just go with the flow to avoid any conflict." "Why would you avoid conflict when you're the one that's constantly getting hurt?" "I wish I could tell you, Wade." "You know what? I'm going to deal with this. I'm not going to let you suffer like this." "No, I don't think you should. It'll only make things worse for me." "I highly doubt that. Listen, I know I'm only your father-in-law, but I think you should reconsider things with Austin. You deserve a man that will always stand up for you, not someone who'll put you down just to avoid conflict." "I know. I just can't begin to imagine starting over again." "Anything's better than you being treated like a doormat." "You're right. I'll think about it." "Good. Now let me take care of things here." I knew deep down that Wade was right. I mean, how long would I be able to survive always being second to Austin? If he didn't make me feel that way, then Rosa definitely did. She never failed to tell me how I could never measure up to Chelsea. And whenever she did, Austin never stood up for me or even reassured me that there was nothing to talk about. After my conversation with Wade, I got really lost in my thoughts. I went back to the kids' table and sat there just thinking about what it would be like to start over. The process of divorce seemed scary, and getting one made me feel like I was a failure. I mean, I couldn't even make my marriage last. I knew it wasn't me that made the relationship fail, but the feeling was still there. I was pulled out of my thoughts when Wade declared that he had an announcement to make. I didn't know what he was going to say, and let me tell you, I was not prepared for it. Wade stood up and began to tell everyone present about how he was so grateful for everyone present. He then talked about how he just wished that the family was more open and welcoming. He said that he felt ashamed of how I was being treated by Rosa and Austin. At this point, both Rosa and Austin looked red in the face. Wade went on to talk about how Rosa could never seem to let go of her son's previous relationship, and because of that she made my life hell. He then talked about how Austin didn't even bother to correct his mother. If anything, he only indulged and enabled her. He told everyone that he was embarrassed by especially Rosa's behavior, which was why he was going to divorce her. Everyone gasped. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that Wade would really do something like that, all because of me. Rosa did not take it well. She began yelling at him and asking him how could he say something so horrific on a day that was supposed to be a happy one. Once she realized that Wade was not going to change his decision about asking for a divorce, she began to cry and beg him to take her back. Wade looked at her in disgust and told her that he never wanted to be with someone who could be so effortlessly cruel and someone who would purposely try to make his son a bad person, especially since she had also been secretly meeting her ex-boyfriend. Apparently for the past year or so, the two had been meeting in secret when Wade was at work. Wade had his suspicions about them, but Rosa always told him that they were just co-workers and old school friends. The only reason he caught them was because one day he came home early and saw the two of them in bed. He never confronted her about it, but he took pictures as proof and left the house. Rosa looked like a ghost. Her sobbing got even more intense after that. Wade told her that she was projecting her actions onto Austin, and that was not okay. Rosa kept begging and pleading with Wade, but Wade just put his drink down, took his coat, and left the house. The entire room was silent because everyone was still reeling from the shock of what happened. I think it's safe to say that the rest of the dinner did not go so well. Rosa was too embarrassed to stay among the rest of her family, and slowly everyone left as well. Austin told me that he was going to stay the night with his mother because he didn't know if she would do something to herself. I was glad that he was going to be away from me because I needed time to think about things. On the drive back home, I began to think of Wade and the courage he had to stand up for himself. I then thought about Wade's advice, and I knew that I needed to stand up for myself. If Wade could break his decades-long relationship because he knew his worth and importance, then so could I. I knew I deserved better. That night, I slept a lot better because I knew that I would soon have the peace I always wanted. Austin only came back home the next evening. He looked exhausted, and so he confided in me, but I was not ready to care about what he was saying. "Oh, I can't believe that my parents are getting a divorce right now." "Yeah. I mean, can you believe the things that Dad revealed? My mom's a mess. Thankfully, Chelsea's there to look after her. I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce." "What? You're clearly still into Chelsea. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who cannot put me first. You want a divorce because I mentioned Chelsea looking after my mother?" "No, I want it because you have repeatedly let me be walked all over by your mother when she praised your ex. You never once came to my defense, not to mention how you repeatedly hid and lied to me about your conversations with Chelsea. You know I can't go against my mother. That's the one thing that I'll never change. And as for my conversations with Chelsea, they were all harmless, nothing explicit. Standing up for your wife when she's being ridiculed is not against your mother, Austin. I don't care that those texts were clean. What matters is that you kept up the conversation with her even after I told you that it made me uncomfortable. Well, I'll change. I promise I'll be a better husband. I'll stand up for you and I'll cut all contact with Chelsea. Just please don't leave me. I'm afraid that I don't want to make any reparations to us. I want out. I've dealt with this for too long. I have this deep-seated resentment towards you that I don't think will ever go away. How could you just throw away a 6-year relationship like this? Don't I mean anything to you? You did, until you showed me that I meant nothing as long as Chelsea was there. I mean, if I truly meant something, you would have stood up for me yesterday instead of letting me sit at the kids' table. Do you even know how humiliating that was? I'm sorry, okay? I got a little carried away with the idea of catching up with Chelsea. That would not have happened if you just let me meet her before she asked. Are you seriously blaming your crappy actions and decisions on me? I told you that you were free to meet her. The only thing is that you'd have to face the consequences of your actions, and that would be a broken marriage. Whatever. I'll change. Just don't leave me. I've already started the filing process. I'll move out by the end of the month. Please don't bother me until then. Oh, please! Where will you even go? Your dad offered to let me stay with him. Wait, what? Since when were you and my dad so close? Since he was the only one to treat me right and tell me I deserve better than you. Now I'm leaving. Goodbye, Austin. Nothing felt as liberating as putting Austin in his place. It hurt to do it, but I knew that I was the only one that was going to benefit from it. Seeing him look hurt and upset made me feel some kind of vindication. I mean, I spent years getting tormented and hurt by his mother and his ex, but not once did he step up for me. Finally, he got to get a taste of his own medicine. It hurt that he actually valued his ex over me, and in the end it was her that he would probably go back to. But I knew firsthand what kind of man Austin is, and all I can say to Chelsea is, all the best. He's your problem now. I moved out of our house that weekend and into Wade's. We spent a lot of time grieving the loss of our relationships. I did feel bad that I was the reason that his relationship ended, but he assured me that I only helped him see the truth about his wife. But we slowly started to get better, but only after a lot of long conversations, ice cream, and crappy movies. My life has slowly begun to get better now. There are still days where I wake up missing Austin like crazy, but then I remember how I felt when I was with him, and I no longer miss him. I've decided to move away from this town because everywhere I go is a reminder of Austin and me. I've managed to find a good job in another state, and I'll be leaving in a month. I'm moving on to bigger and better things now. I can't wait to start a new life and fully heal. Thanks for listening.